Well, the other team in Manchester is definitely fighting for the biggest titles. They just cruised past Sheffield United in their latest game. Before we get into City, I feel that you're going to go against what a lot of other people are thinking here, because my question was going to be if the contenders blew their chance to actually pull away while City were away on Club World Cup duty, and obviously why there has been some slip-ups from City. But I feel that you think there's still a lot more to come of this story in the title race.
I do, because I just haven't seen Manchester City. I mean, when were we talking about Manchester City in a way that we did last season, the season before, and the season before that? And maybe it takes time. Maybe some of the injuries, obviously, when he recovers players like Kevin De Bruyne, who's missed so much of the season. I mean, let's not forget that I think he got injured, first game of the season. So I need to see that. I think, of course, he's going to be wonderful as well, but that may take time. Who knows? Erling Haaland's going to be back. And yes, everything is pointing towards the fact that advantage hasn't been taken. But, even before the season, I mean, just as much as we can say, well, this is Manchester City now to run away with, fair play. But I mean, look, Arsenal before this last game that they lost, they were 10 points worse off. Maybe it's Manchester City that hasn't taken advantage of any of that. Think about it. And Arsenal is still there, and they were 10 points worse off than last season. Maybe for some of the reasons that I've mentioned, that they had to cope with a big competition that is the Champions League. So why did Manchester City didn't take advantage? And by the way, Manchester City is only 2 points worse off. So you see my thinking here. That's why, and there's a reason for that. But because Manchester City have not been at their best, can they get there? Yes, but we need to see it first. And that's why I think with the likes of Aston Villa, with even Newcastle, who are losing games, but they'll get their players back. Spurs, which I hope you're going to talk to me about, because, for example, I feel that if they have everybody available, they're better than, say, Arsenal. They are. They're deeper. They're better. They have game changers all over the pitch, right? So you have Spurs, you have Villa, who are surprising, who are going to cause problems. Of course, you have West Ham that's re-emerging a little bit. And I just think that at this stage, those teams are capable of causing Manchester City problems from time to time. So let's wait and see. But I'm not willing to say what I said last season, where there was, as you know, zero doubt at any given point for me that City were going to win it. Even when Arsenal were like 12 points ahead, I still didn't think they were going to do it. We're not at that point yet with Manchester City.
Okay, so just because it's fun, just because it's a new year, if today you had to say 1, 2, 3 of where the three teams of the top three finish in the Premier League, who would you say?
At this moment, if I had to, let's just on the assumption that teams will get most of the players back, I would say at this stage, in a very tight race, would be Manchester City, Liverpool, Spurs, and Arsenal.
Oh, wow. Well, that does lead us on to our next conversation very, very nicely, because I was just going to say that after the wins for Villa and Spurs, who's finishing higher of these two teams? And obviously, you're thinking Spurs.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I think? Look, when everybody was available, remember who for the longest time was at the top of the league? It was Spurs, right? I mean, they were up there. I mean, look what's happening. I mean, everybody can talk here, Chelsea, Manchester United, Liverpool, about missing players, but look at some of the quality that they're missing. But, even what's more important is without those players, look how everybody else has upped their game for Spurs. And just the fact that they go after teams and how they score. I mean, think about it. I mean, Maddison was absolutely outstanding. Of course, he's a great player, right? Van de Ven, what a defender. I mean, Romero's been in and out because of injuries and suspensions. You have Emerson Royale and Davies playing there, and they're doing a pretty good job, right? Udogie is great. I mean, he continues to do what he does. They have one of the best goalkeepers in the league, because we keep talking about these players. What's going on at Arsenal? Raya, great with feet. Ramsdale should have been playing. Robert Sanchez, Onana, all these goalkeepers that are coming in the league are supposed to come in and take their team to the next level because of their abilities in in how to play with goal. And you look at Vicario, and he's absolutely outstanding. Look at Richarlison as of late. Look what he does. Kulusevski, incredible. Look what he's done with Lo Celso. I mean, I really, a few weeks back, I forgot about Lo Celso. Look at Bentancur, again, in and out, but comes back and immediately, remember, I forget which goal it was. I think maybe the first goal, when he anticipated the mistake and set it up himself. You know how I feel about Bentancur. Many fans in England forgot who he is and how he plays, but he's absolutely outstanding. So you look at this team, and all of a sudden you look how deep they are in talent when everybody comes back. And as I've mentioned here before on another show, Human-Son is going to be missed, but it's almost as if they're ready to play without key players. And I want, key players, and Richarlison, as I said, in good form. So I've always liked Enge. There's been some question marks because they're going to come inevitably, because, I mean, you're going to lose some games because you miss so many players. But every time we kind of think that they're going to fall away, look, they're a point behind Arsenal. Speaking of Arsenal's depth, aside from Yuri and Timber, I mean, they have pretty much everybody available, don't they? In fact, throughout the season. And Spurs, I think they're a deeper team than Arsenal. I really do.
Wow. So things have definitely changed in terms of where you're seeing teams finishing just now after what we've seen over this Christmas break.
Simply because Spurs proved, because Spurs proved to me that even when they miss so many players, the way of playing, the attitude of the manager is not changing, and everybody's thriving and getting better under that. Just as we question the likes of, I don't know, Richarlison, he's coming good. I didn't even mention Brennan Johnson, who, slowly but surely is becoming a very, very important part of that team. And that's part of that depth. So, I mean, look, when everybody comes back, I think Enge is going to have a headache in who to play and how and where to play them. I don't even, Papa Sarr scored, got injured again. But I think at Spurs these days, it's like, okay, somebody gets injured, no problem. Next person comes in, and we keep on trucking.
And all buying into the same philosophy as well under Big Ange.